Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship at Stony Brook, located on the ancestral lands of the Settlecott Nation. My name is Laura Lesh, and I am co-leading worship this morning with fellow worship associate Carol Castillo. Reverend Dave's sermon will be shown on the screen. Music this morning will be provided by our choir, the Unicorn Singers, under the direction of our interim choir director, Linda Contino. Linda comes to us following her long and distinguished career as the choral and musical director at Ward Melville High School, and she has been truly delightful and challenging to work with. She has a special collection of music planned for us in the months to come, and we are really blessed to have her with us. I know you will want to join me in giving her our warmest welcome. Linda. Our precious Bethany Riddle will accompany the hymns as well as the choir. Our tech team is Rob Pond, and in height order, Rich Hall and Linda Cortese. We welcome you all, those here in our community and those attending online. We're one congregation worshiping together, so let's all say hi and wave to each other through the camera on your left. Hi. A very special welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. We're so glad you came in or tuned in, and we look forward to getting to know you. If you're here and can raise your hand, we'll be able to recognize and greet you all personally after the service. Anybody new today, other than Linda? Well, great, welcome. Please plan to join us as our guests after the service for coffee and conversation. Plus, as we do on the first Sunday of each month, there will also be a light lunch. And for those of you who are with us online, if you sign off after the service, grab your beverage and snack of choice and return to our website. You'll find the link for joining our virtual coffee hour for a small group chat. Whether here or online, you will find some friendly folks who can answer any questions you may have. For sharing joys and sorrows at any time during the service, please feel free to come forward to the table on the left and drop a pebble in the water. Should you wish to make a promise or let go of one, remember someone, release a bit of pain, or otherwise mark something that is on your mind or in your heart, you may quietly send your thoughts outward as you drop a pebble into the water, connecting your individual intention with the intentions of the whole community. Please silence your cell phones if you haven't already done so that we may all be fully present in this time we share together. Let us now enter into the sacred space of worship with the sounding of the morning bell. May its vibrations open your hearts, clear our minds, and bring us fully into the moment.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. Be the voice you want to see in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. And change will come to you. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. And change will come to you. And change
The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. For those at home, I invite you to light a chalice or a candle as we kindle our flame here in the sanctuary. This morning, we invite August Harlow to come forward and light the chalice, and I will share these words from Reverend Michelle Collins. This is called The Wisdom to Know. We light this chalice as we learn to hold both tenderness and strength. May this flame illuminate the wisdom to know when compassion calls us to offer comfort and when it demands courageous action. And now I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our first hymn, number 389 in the gray hymnal, Gathered Here. We'll sing it through once all together, and then 3 more times as a round with the left side, well, your left, starting, and then the right side joining in. Number 389.
So I asked Wendy if I could possibly read the story today because it has a lot of meaning to me. It's a book I've listened to for a long, long time. First time I ever heard it was Captain Kangaroo, read it, Stone Soup. And then I remember as teenagers we found out that he lived in West Babylon. So of course we all made the trek to try to go meet Captain Kangaroo. And his son came out and shooed us away. He probably knew we were up to no good. So anyway, it's a terrific book about compassion, terrific book about community, which you have and what you do for each other. It's called Stone Soup, written in 1947. 3 soldiers trudged down a road in a strange country. They were on their way home from the wars. Besides being tired, they were hungry. In fact, they had eaten nothing for 2 days. "How I would like a good dinner tonight," said the first, "and a bed to sleep in. But all that is impossible," said the third. "We must march on." And on they marched. Suddenly ahead of them they saw the lights of a village. "Maybe we'll find a bite to eat there," said the first, "and a loft to sleep in." no harm in asking. Now the peasants of that place feared strangers. When they heard that 3 soldiers were coming down the road, they talked amongst themselves. Here come 3 soldiers. Soldiers are always hungry, but we have little enough for ourselves. They pushed sacks of barley under the hay of the lofts. They lowered buckets of milk down the wells. They spread old quilts over the carrot bins. They hid their cabbages and potatoes under the beds, and they hung their meats in the cellars. They hid everything they had to eat. The soldiers stopped first at the house of Paul and Francois. "Good evening to you," they said. "Could you spare a bit of food for 3 hungry soldiers?" "Well, we have no food for ourselves for 3 days. It's been a poor harvest." The 3 soldiers went to the house of Albert and Louise. "Could you spare a bit of food? And have you some corner where we could sleep for the night?" "Oh, no," said Albert. "We gave all we could spare to the soldiers who came before you. Our beds are full." At Vincent's and Marie's, the answer was the same. It had been a poor harvest, and the grain must be kept for seed. So as it went through the village, no one had any food to give away. The villagers stood on the street and sighed. They looked as hungry as they could, and the 3 soldiers spoke together. Then the first soldier called out, "Good people!" The peasants drew near. "We are 3 hungry soldiers in a strange land. We have asked you for food, but you have no food. Then we will have to make stone soup." The peasants stared. Stone soup, that would be something to know about. "First, we'll need a large iron pot." The peasants found the large iron pot. "That's none too large, but it will do. And now fill it with water, and let's make a fire and heat it." It took many buckets of water to fill the pot. A fire was built on the village square, and the pot was set to boil. "And now, if you please, 3 round, smooth stones." And those were easy enough to find. The peasants' eyes grew as they watched the soldiers drop the stones into the pot. "Any soup needs salt and pepper," said the soldiers. Children ran to fetch salt and pepper. "Stones, like these generally, make good soup. But oh, if there were carrots, that would be much better." "Why, I think I have a carrot or 2, said Francois. She came back with an apron full of carrots from the bin beneath the red quilt. "A good stone soup should have cabbage," said the soldiers as they sliced the carrots into the pot. "But no use asking for what you don't have." "Oh, I think I could find a cabbage somewhere," said Marie, and she hurried home. But she came back with 3 cabbages from her cupboard bed. "If only we had a little beef and some potatoes. This soup would be good enough for a rich man's table." The peasants thought it over. They remembered their potatoes and sides of beef hanging in the cellars. They ran to fetch them. A rich man's soup, all from a few stones, seemed like magic. "Ah," said the soldiers as they stirred the beef and potatoes, "if only we had a little bit of barley and milk." The peasants looked at each other and had entertained. Well, there's no use asking for what you don't have, and the peasants brought their barley from the lofts, and they brought their milk from the wells. The soldiers stirred in the barley and milk into the steaming broth, and the peasants stared. At last the soup was ready. "All of you must taste, but first a table must be set." Great tables were placed in the square. Such a soup! How good it smelled! Truly fit for a king. But then the peasants asked themselves, would not such a soup require bread and a roast and some cider? Soon a banquet was spread, and everyone sat to eat. Never had there been such a feast. Never had peasants tasted such soup, and fancy, made from stones. They ate and drank and ate and drank. And after that they danced, and they danced far into the night. At last they were tired. The 3 soldiers asked, "Is there a loft for us to sleep?" Let 3 wise and splendid gentlemen sleep in a loft. Indeed, they must have the best beds in the village. So the first soldier slept in the priest's house, the second soldier slept in the baker's house, and the third soldier slept in the mayor's house. In the morning, the whole village gathered in the square to give them a send-off. Many thanks for what you have taught us, the peasants said to the soldiers. We shall never go hungry now that we know how to make soup from stones. Oh, it's all in the knowing how, said the soldiers, and off they went down the road. I did want to introduce a program that we're going to do with the youth and the whole congregation, sort of the RE group will do something and involve the whole congregation with it. One of the things we need, if you look up just behind Wendy there, it's cereal boxes. So I've been collecting cereal boxes. We have a whole bunch in one of the rooms there. I do have to tell you, when I was young, my dad, I think I told you guys, we had 10 kids. We lived over here. It's called Nassaquag Ridge. And he used to bring us actually to the supermarket, and when they would have a limit one item, he would have 6 kids there in line with the one item. So he's very serious about bargains and saving money. So anyway, the cereal that I buy, I'll go into CVS, and the whole cereal aisle, there'll be, I'd say about maybe 10 items that are $1.99 for a box of cereal. So what I do is I go in and I buy 5 boxes, and it's $10, and then it gets donated to a food pantry at the end. So it's almost a discount way to be charitable. I don't know what you would call it. But yeah, so there's some great bargains on cereal. So if you're in the supermarket and you see in the front and Stop and Shop and it's 2 for $5, or I actually found some $1.88. So if you see any kind of a cereal box in there, that's what we're collecting. And then I'm going to guess in about 6 weeks, we're going to do something with that project with the whole congregation. So there'll be 2 cardboard boxes up in the front for cereal only. There's also a food pantry there for other foods, but this will be just for cereal boxes. And then as time goes, we'll see how it works out. All right, thanks.
Just to confirm, filled cereal boxes?
Yes, full. Yeah. Yeah. Although we'll take the empties too, because there's another activity with the empties.
Thank you so much. And now let's sing the children out with the Reeves benediction. It's on the back inside cover of either hymnal.
I think Patrick is referring to that project as the Stone Soup Project. So think about that when you're in the supermarket. Okay. Our reading this morning is titled With Dirt on Our Hands, written by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. Come into this moment as if stepping into a garden at dawn, quiet, tender, open to what may grow. Let compassion be the flower we bend toward. We return as if returning to the soil, hands in the dirt, willing to tend what needs tending. Here, today, we gather to remember that the most delicate blooms require daily care, that attention is the water of love, that we are still learning how to care. Come, let us begin again in love, tending the garden of the heart and the heart of compassion.
Let's now enter into a time of meditation. We'll begin with spoken words this morning, which are also by the Reverend Dr. David Breeden, called Tending. Then we'll have a moment of silent meditation. After that, Bethany will bring us out of the silence with hymn number 348 in your gray hymnal, Guide My Feet. If you aren't familiar with it, you may wish to open to that page now. That's number 348 in the gray hymnal. Spirit of compassion, named or nameless, within and among us, teach us to tend to ourselves and to each other. May we tend to tenderness as patiently as seeds in spring. May our hearts be soft enough to feel another's ache, strong enough to hold that ache with grace. When we fail, may we begin again gently, with compassion for ourselves. May this be our hope and vow, to practice love until it takes root.
Now, I know we're out of order at this point from what's on your written order of service. There was an error. So we are going to our spiritual practice of generosity as we share our offering plate with an organization working for a more just future at this point. For the month of October, we honor Hispanic Heritage Month, and our Share the Plate recipient is the Central American Refugee Center known as CARACEN. This agency has offices in Brentwood and Hempstead where they empower immigrants through legal services, community education, and advocacy. Their community service team offers events on topics such as accessing medical care, professional skill building, financial literacy, and scholarship opportunities. The legal services team offers a citizenship preparation program, assistance through a self-help mode with legal representation in immigration court, a low bono program of legal assistance with immigration applications for green cards and work permits, and a youth immigration project which provides services to unaccompanied minors. CARACEN also provides English classes via Zoom and preparation classes for the citizenship test. New immigrants are some of the most valuable members of our Long Island community. Our donations will help give them the services they need to thrive in their new American communities and let them know that their home is here. Please give generously to this worthy organization as you enjoy our beautiful offertory by Eric Whitaker. The words are in an insert to your order of service. For those online, we need your donations too, and the link to donate is in the comments now, and you can also find it on the homepage of your website. Thank you.
May we sing together always. May our voice be
We acknowledge these pebbles and the ripples which we see before us. May those ripples carry our shared joys and sorrows, reminding us that we are connected and that we hold each other in compassion.
We return together today to consider the place of compassion in our lives and kindle the fire for more of it. There has never been a time when we have a greater need for ever greater compassion. It seems to me that a first great gift we can give to another person is to join them in their suffering. But the second and maybe greater gift is to help them to see a personal path from it, a path they can walk for themselves toward the joyfulness that is our birthright. Leadership is the necessary center of the way we struggle to move forward together. It must be emotionally and spiritually connected to the people you seek to lead, be in relation to their experience and not only in relation to your objective. Compassion, therefore, is at the heart of leadership, especially in religious community. Let me begin by sharing a little story from another life of mine. I once knew of a company, I won't be naming names today. It was on the top of a tall glass building near the center of the city. Maybe it was 30 stories tall. And there was a sweeping, twisting stair that connected, let's say, the 29th floor with the 30th floor. The president of the company would sit above on the 30th floor, and the appointed workers would go up the staircase to provide whatever services were required in the day. These winding glass steps and the silver rails on the sides became known over time as the stairway to heaven. And on certain days, special days, you never knew when, the president would come down the stairs to consult or merely walk among the people at the level below. One day, the story goes, and it may be apocryphal, but I love the story too much, so I believe it. One of the days, one of the older women, much esteemed in the company, worked there for many, many years, and she collapsed suddenly there on the staircase, and everybody gathered around to see if she could be helped, resuscitated. The CEO, happening upon his scene from his office down to a meeting, showed just the right amount of sympathy, and he kneeled by her side. And she was widely loved, and he cared for her too. He genuinely did, I know that fact. But after a little time passed, and maybe it was 5 minutes, she was alive, she was okay, she was breathing, she was still on the ground, and yet he still needed to get to his meeting. He really needed to get to his meeting. And the meeting, to be clear, was on the other side of this whole unpleasantness, for she was splayed out there on Stairway to Heaven, sort of blocking the way. And there he made his inner calculations, as one does, whether to retreat, maybe go find the elevator, or to soldier forward. And indeed, he climbed over her body to make it down the stairs to get where he was going. He did it as gracefully as he could with his 300-pound frame over top of her. No one tells what happened to our beloved coworker. And that leader was soon no longer part of the company, but the story is told and retold to this day, and I tell it to you to pass it on. Now, what's the moral of the story? Maybe there's a really basic moral, which is maybe you shouldn't be set apart on the 30th floor with one of two offices up there while everyone else are on the 29 floors below. Maybe it's a structural problem from the get-go. But I want to call us a little deeper and say there's this natural problem, even if you're not the CEO of a company in a tall tower, there's a natural problem that when you're called to lead, you begin in a place that is distant from those you serve. And you have to make a series of decisions and movements. You have to move yourself closer to the people you serve. And that's not always a simple thing to do. Any of us who can think of our relationships with our loved ones and our families and our communities and know in our heart we have a yearning to move closer to them, and yet we have to figure out how to do it with grace and care and compassion, and yet at the same time move forward is not as easy as it sounds, and I'm not picking on that CEO today. The story is a little funny because it's so egregious, and it lets us kind of point and laugh at this character I've obscured, condemn them at the same time. And personally, I like nothing better than to feel a little bit superior and amused. But I want to use this caricature, more importantly, to reflect on the ways we ourselves might be climbing over or around the person to get to the place we're going. The ways in which we view people as impediments to where we're going, or more likely, even with good heart, good intentions, leading the missional campaign, using people as instruments to get where we're going, without pausing and nurturing the compassion, empathy, and relationships that in the long run will get us where we need to be. How often, when we're hoping to accomplish something worthwhile, to do our job and fulfill our duty, to make the world a better place, are we climbing over somebody to do it? How often do we see that in the larger political sphere? Again, it's easy to point and say, out there, how can they govern like this? How can a politician do this? How can they? How can they? And yet, the continual spiritual practice of recentering ourselves to focus on the person in front of us and to establish real connection that it might deepen into powerful relationships that change the world. Not too often this stepping over is around over a literal body, but figuratively, we need to pause and contemplate how we see the people in our lives, whether we deeply see the people in our lives, especially in long-time relationships. Interestingly, we don't necessarily see people more deeply through time, but come to take them for granted and allow a thinning out of those relationships. It's this move I'm talking about of empathy and compassion and just a deepening of connection. Let me just be really simple. A deepening of connection to see humans as humans, which makes, I think, church leadership special. That when we lead in faith communities, we are given the time and the space and, yes, a kind of divine commission to take time for the people. We're getting small work done in deeply powerful ways that we may be equipped when the time comes to do more profound work of the world, more profound work of the Spirit. The insight that changes it all is that the people, they are our purpose. Everything else is decorative. Religious leadership might seem like a different animal than what's going on at the top of corporate office buildings, but they share so much in common in a world where we have to build up our institutions and we have to fulfill a mission that gives the meaning that establishes the locus of gravity that gives our church power. Now, I'm going to reach back into the tradition, do a little biblical preaching here. It's real light. Don't be afraid. But it's one of these paradigmatic stories, right? These archetypes of the tradition behind us, which is that of sort of discipling. There's a story about Jesus in the book of Matthew, and he's walking by the Sea of Galilee. And he saw Peter and Andrew, and they were fishermen, and they were tossing a net into the sea. And he does an outrageous thing. He shouts, I picture it just, he's passing by, he sees these guys actually doing their job, and he says, hey, fellas, follow me. I'm going to teach you to fish in a different way. And I'm going to teach you about fishing for people and what that looks like. And this is the crazy part of the story. Miracle part of the story, right? They dropped their nets and they followed him. And then he saw two other people. He saw James, he saw John, and they were in a boat with their father, and they were mending nets, and he shouted, "Hey, you guys come too. I need a bunch of y'all. We're going to go, what, build a church. We're going to go change the world." He didn't even say build a church. He says, we have a project, and it's about people. Immediately they left the boat, they left their father, and they followed him. Now, this is a crazy story, because if you could imagine walking down the street, and I encourage you, indeed I commission you to do it tomorrow. Maybe there's a work crew out on the LIE, and you stop and you say, "Guys, put everything down, get in the car, come with me. We have work to do." Try it. Maybe like that, maybe in a different way. The thing I love about this story is that this isn't a magical miracle story. This is a story in which I imagine the prophet walking and saying this radical thing, which is like, "Aha, I see you. I see the gifts that you have. I see the skills that you have. I see the possibility that maybe hasn't had an outlet yet. Come, let's do a thing together. Let's make something amazing that hasn't been made before." He was also saying, rather vulnerably in a way, "I want you to be part of my life. Let's do a project together. Would you be interested in doing a project together?" And now, I'm planting this seed here in this religious community so that you think about your opportunities to be a little bit audacious, to be a little bit vulnerable, to shout out to someone you might not know that well, "Hey, I see you. I wonder if you want to work on a thing with me." Because invitation is the most powerful tool we have in leadership. Especially in religious community, we're not commanding anyone to do anything. You know that. I know that. What we have is this incredible power of invitation coupled with this, and I think it's a superpower. The superpower to see and name gifts other people have. It's so rare that someone calls it out, you know? If you see something, say something. That's what they say in the airports. If you see something, say something. If you see something beautiful, shout it out. If you see someone gifted, say it to them. If you see someone do something which is a blessing on this place, the blessing on another person, or a blessing in your life, just name it. Just name it aloud. And in that practice, we gather up the community. We gather up the community, and then we go do some work together. This is one kind of vision of leadership I'm suggesting today. And I'm talking about leadership because we're at this wonderful moment, at this threshold of so much disruption and so much change and so much we can do together if we can call people in and say to them, "Bring your gifts, bring your energy, bring your passion, and let's go." And we have this invitation from the universe to do that right now. And I think it's an almost unique moment in that way for us. So let me declare this. In this community, absolutely everyone is called to lead. Our theology includes everyone. That's the radical part of it. Is that when we walk down along the road or we're walking by the Sea of Galilee, we're calling out to everyone because we see a special gift in each person. There's not anyone in this world who doesn't have something to bring to be part of our community. That is an incredible opportunity for us. We are not the ones who are spending our time sorting the gifted from the ungifted. That's not what I'm talking about. We're the ones who pause long enough and look deeply enough to see the gifts that are absolutely there. That's the miracle of the universe, is that every human being is uniquely gifted. I believe it. That's the universalist gospel right there. Every human being is uniquely gifted. Okay. I want to propose in a really hands-on or a really practical way a collection of 5 things that leadership means in religious community. And I'm gonna let me give credit to two fellows, Kouzes and Posner, and they did a wonderful book on the practices of exemplary leadership. The blame, though, for these is mine because I have appropriated and corrupted for my own purposes. First practice, take part, put yourself in it, show up, go at risk, be vulnerable, invest yourself, be eager to find your place. Make a place if one doesn't exist. Have you ever had to pull a chair up to the table and say, excuse me, can I sit right here? Would that be okay? That's okay here. And I want to tell you another thing that's okay. If you have a part that no longer suits you, take the risk of finding a whole new part to play. Maybe even one you're not yet good at. Let's all take up parts for which we have passion and curiosity that we aren't that good at yet. If not here, where will we get a chance to do that? If not now, when will we take that risk? So make this a spiritual discipline to choose again and again to put yourself in it. I want to reinforce this idea that our faith, our tradition, and the radical part of it is that it's created through action, not cogitation. It's about practices more than beliefs. What we're trying to say by saying this, it's not about a fixed creed because we don't know the fixed answer to things. It's about discerning what we need to do and having the courage to move, the courage to try. Let this be a place where we have the courage to try. Okay. Second thing, see and be seen. Be radically visible when you do whatever it is you find to do. Communicate about it, shout it out, testify to the good you see, testify to your effort and the hope that has flowed from it. Our eyes are open to the possibility in the world and in our own lives when we witness the good, when other people take the moment to lift up the good and show it to us and say, isn't this beautiful? Have you ever seen this before? Here, let me spin a record. Have you ever heard this before? And in so doing, when we invite someone in that way, we open a whole new world of the good and the beautiful. So we're talking a lot recently about how will we in this community step up our social justice efforts so that we're out in the community bearing witness, raising our voice, allying with those who are most vulnerable. It's got to be visible for it to have the effect we want. We need some new t-shirts. What color should they be? Purple, bright purple t-shirts with unicorns? Is that what we were talking? We need to stand up and stand out. It's kind of courage. Be vulnerable, see and be seen. Third thing to suggest to you, we are not a place of creeds, but that doesn't mean we're not a place that's grounded in faith. The challenge is you need to ground what you do in your individual personal faith commitments. Now those, I don't require you to write those on the wall, shout those out, by our actions we shall be known. But I do call us to ground ourselves in the question, why is this action, why is this work worth giving my life for? A little more melodrama, right? Not necessarily sacrificing your whole life, but time is precious. Daylight is precious. How will you spend, as Mary Oliver says, this one wild and precious life? And is it worth it? And have we thought about that investment? I encourage us each to do that for ourselves. The fourth one is what I led with. Lead by inviting people. We need not do any of this work alone. And if we ever find ourselves carrying the weight all by ourselves, see it as this wonderful opportunity. I'm usually just cursing and annoyed and why does nobody help me? How do you ask 4 people to help lighten the load? On everything we do. On everything we do, I want us to stop and not even begin the simplest of actions without asking someone to say, hey, would you get the other end of the table for me? I'm not concerned whether you're strong enough to lift the table by yourself, although don't hurt yourself. I want us to always stop and practice, hey, would you help me chop the celery? Fine, get another knife, chop the celery. That's it. Continuously invite. Fifth one is encourage the people in the work that we do. Let's have our work be permeated with kindness and forgiveness and good humor. Let us be the kind of faith community that has a sense of humor, at least tries, right? I often ask the question, if we're going to pay for a 6x4 visqueen sign to hang on the highway in front of the building, what's the sign going to say? A new one. What's it going to say? We have a sense of humor, or at least we try. I wouldn't mind that sign. And I bet you $1, 5 new people show up. Because how many religious institutions lack a sense of humor, or at least try to bring a little lightness of spirit into this world and into matters of faith, which oughtn't be grim. Faith is not a grim business. And then finally, with all of these things rolled together, I want to close by saying the work is to build the institution as we do the work, ensuring that when we've come upon a good thing, when we've figured out what works, we ensure that it's here next week, next year, and let's be crazy. 20 years from now, what are we doing today to build the institution, the systems, the practices, the rituals, all the pieces to ensure that the magic we've captured is still present 20 years from now? That's this question of legacy. And we'll be talking about that a lot in these coming months. How do we build the institution so our work is amplified and perpetuated into the future? So this is a lot to remember and to do, but don't worry. Leadership here is different because I think we're operating on sacred time. What is sacred time? Sacred time means there's always a spaciousness, that spaciousness to go deeper on our relationships. Another kind of spaciousness to say, what I'm building here is for now, but it's also for, did I say 20 years? Let's say 100 years. That's insane. But yes, I'm encouraging you to think about the next 100 years and how our actions today continue to ripple in the pond for 100 years. That's the nature of sacred time. Beyond our lifetimes, beyond the lifetimes of the next generation and everyone alive today, we might create something that continues to beat a pulse of compassion into the community and the world. In the very long run, there is possibility without limit. That's the gift of this place. So let us all together learn to pray something like, I'm going to suggest, cook's prayer. I love to cook. A cook's prayer for our own compassionate leadership here. Give us the courage to do what we can to make the meal for this day for people hunger. Give us confidence that there will be enough to feed everyone who shows up at our table. Give us vision to see everyone waiting and ready to do the heavy lifting with us. Give us strength because at times the kitchen is hot and the shift is long. But most of all, give us the wisdom to understand that we will be fed long before the plates reach the table. May it be so, and amen.
So now I'm going to invite you to rise again in body or in spirit. Join in singing our final hymn, number 1014, Answering the Call of Love, in the Teal hymnal. This hymn was written by Reverend David Shelton in 2004. After some people began expressing that they felt excluded by his original lyrics, Standing on the Side of Love, he changed it in 2016. Our hymnal was printed prior to that. The new lyrics are in the chorus. The verses remain the same. Hymn 1014, Answering the Call of Love. As we depart this place, I offer you in blessing these good words from Reverend Michelle Collins. Our time together ends, but compassion's work continues. May you carry forward the courage to choose kindness over convenience, remembering that your gentle choices ripple outward, healing our broken world, one encounter at a time. As our service concludes, let's wave and say goodbye to the folks who are online.